I recorded the first song, the first reggae song in this room here, this very place here. And the engineer and the producer would like listen carefully to what you're saying. And then they would stop the tape and say, no, you can't say that. And I said, why? No, you can't say that. Because one, the record won't be played on the radio, and two, the government won't be happy, and, you know.
Lucky Dube was a renowned South African reggae artist and Rastafarian. His global record sales earned him the title of best-selling African musician at the 1996 World Music Awards. Through his lyrics, Lucky Dube addressed various issues impacting South Africans and Africans as a whole, reaching an international audience. Over a span of 25 years, he released 22 albums, making him the best-selling reggae artist in Africa's history. Tragically, he was killed in the Johannesburg suburb of Rosettenville on the evening of October 18, 2007. Born on August 3, 1964, in Ermelo, Transvaal, now Mpumalanga, Lucky Dube's parents separated before he was born, and he was raised by his mother, who named him Lucky due to her belief that his birth was a blessing after several unsuccessful pregnancies. He spent much of his childhood with his grandmother Sarah, while his mother worked. In a 1999 interview, Lucky Dube referred to his grandmother as his greatest love, crediting her for shaping him into the responsible person he became. In his youth, Lucky Dube worked as a gardener, but later chose to pursue education to enhance his economic opportunities. While in school, he joined a choir and formed his first musical group, the Skyway Band, with friends. It was during this time that he discovered the Rastafari movement. At 18, he joined his cousin's band, the Love Brothers, which played Zulu pop music known as Mbakanga. The band signed with Teal Record Company and released the album Lucky Dube and the Super Soul, during which Lucky Dube began learning English. In 1986, he and his cousin Richard Siluma released the Afrikaans album Die Kapse Dans. When Lucky Dube released his fifth album, sound engineer Dave Siegel suggested he drop the Super Soul from his name, and all subsequent albums were credited solely to Lucky Dube. Around this time, he noticed that audiences responded positively to the reggae songs he performed at concerts. Inspired by artists like Jimmy Cliff and Peter Tosh, he recognized that the socio-political themes of Jamaican reggae resonated with a South African audience living in an institutionally racist society. In 1984, he ventured into a new musical style and released the mini-album Rastas Never Die, which sold poorly, approximately 4,000 copies, compared to the 30,000 units his Mbakanga albums typically sold. To curb anti-apartheid sentiments, the government banned the album in 1985 due to its critical lyrics, particularly in the song War and Crime. Despite this setback, Lucky Dube remained undeterred, performing the reggae songs live and producing a second reggae album, Think About the Children, in 1985. This album achieved platinum status and solidified his reputation as a prominent reggae artist in South Africa, gaining recognition beyond his country. Lucky Dube continued to release successful albums, winning 4 OKTV awards in 1989 for Prisoner, 1 for Captured Live the following year, and 2 for House of Exile the year after that. His 1993 album Victims sold over 1 million copies globally. In 1995, he signed a worldwide recording contract with Motown, and his album Trinity was the first release on Taboo Records after Motown acquired the label. In 1996, he released the compilation album Serious Reggae Business, which earned him the title of Best-Selling African Recording Artist at the World Music Awards and International Artist of the Year at the Ghana Music Awards. His next 3 albums each won South African Music Awards. His 2006 album, Respect, was released in Europe through a deal with Warner Music. Lucky Dube toured internationally, sharing the stage with artists like Peter Gabriel and Sting. He performed at the 1991 Reggae Sunsplash, where he was uniquely invited back for a 25-minute encore, and at the 2005 Live 8 event in Johannesburg. In addition to his music career, Lucky Dube occasionally acted, featuring in films such as Voice in the Dark, Getting Lucky, and Lucky Strikes Back. He used reggae music as a platform to advocate for racial equality in South Africa during apartheid, addressing issues of colonialism and the African slave trade, and expressing his belief that Africa should be reclaimed by its black population. Tragically, on October 18, 2007, Lucky Dube was shot and killed by armed robbers in Rosettenville, a suburb of Johannesburg, shortly after dropping off 2 of his 7 children at their uncle's home. The assailants targeted his Chrysler 300C, and police reports indicate he was shot by carjackers who did not recognize him. A state witness claimed he was mistakenly believed to be Nigerian. 5 men were arrested in connection with the murder, 3 of whom were tried and convicted on March 31, 2009. 2 of the convicted attempted to escape but were apprehended. The men responsible for Lucky Dube's death received life sentences. On October 21, 2008, Rykodisc launched a compilation album named Retrospective, which included many of Lucky Dube's most significant songs along with tracks that had not been released in the United States before. This album celebrated Lucky Dube's music and recognized his impact on South Africa. The Roots Reggae Library has begun archiving digital versions of the artist's Mbakanga albums from the 1980s, successfully retrieving 5 out of 6 albums, with Nyikwethembe Na still missing. As one of the pioneering artists to introduce African reggae to a wider audience, Lucky Dube helped bridge cultural divides within the African diaspora. His music exemplified a praxis of cross-culturality and visionary possibility, giving Africa a voice and showcasing its culture on a global platform by integrating into the international reggae scene. By returning Jamaican music to its roots, he redefined the themes of oppression and political struggles inherent in reggae, fostering a broader Pan-African cultural dialogue. Lucky Dube's roots reggae facilitated discussions about the black diaspora by echoing the claims of African authenticity made by Caribbean artists. On September 22, 2017, Gallo Records South Africa released a limited edition commemorative album titled The Times We've Shared, featuring 25 tracks that included Lucky Dube's greatest hits, exclusive performances, and 3 previously unreleased songs. In Australia, Lucky Dube's music has resonated with remote Aboriginal communities, earning him the title of Bigger Than the Beatles in many parts of Central and Northern Australia.